As if they don't have too much on their plates. The Kings of Combat Sports Podcast, John and Wade. They talk about the things they did that day. They'll analyze the work of Triple H. Rewind to SmackDown. 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 Rewind to SmackDown.
Way, you won't guess what I did yesterday.
You went to see a movie.
I went to see Weapons.
Tell me all about it.
Okay, I don't want to give away too much here.
No, on the free side of things is where you completely spoil it for everybody. I'll edit it out of the Café version.
Yeah, everyone grab a twig and snap it.
Is that the weapon?
I'm not gonna share any secrets. Great movie.
If you want to hear John Pollock's very thorough, very must hear review of Weapons, check out
I don't weaponize
version.
Spoilers though.
You don't really weaponize much because I still don't really know anything.
No,
about
I'm never
this film.
doing a movie review again. That's definitely. I'm going to talk about Weapons in a couple of years down the road. Also, on the XL edition, which you get the full news pack, Wai and I spent. We solved all the promotional problems in the world talking about TNA. What is its role in the WWE's orbit and how it can be used as a tool against AEW? How do you respond if you're AEW, seeing the writing on the wall, the full court press that is being executed by WWE, whether it be potential head-to-head competition against Dynamite, whether it is head-to-head competition on pay-per-view, which we are going to be getting, and maybe more than one. So all of that discussed, plus going through the G1 Climax as we're down to the final four, Dynamite ratings, and a packed weekend of shows. Do you know how much stuff we're going up against, Wai? We're against TNA Emergence. We're against MJF at Arena Mexico for CMLL.
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
Wai just said, we better be done this show before 5:30 in the morning because I want to be there for the Hiromu Takahashi match that kicks off Noah. Guy had to go from Cincinnati to all the way to Korakuen Hall for tomorrow morning to open up the Noah card, which is headlined by Kenta and Naomichi Marufuji, which has been circled on Wai's calendar since it was announced.
I will get to it as soon as I get through what's this buddy's
The Best
name?
of Brian Battle. You can
That's
now officially,
right.
you can skip and just go right to maybe you'll follow maybe more on Chase Hooper. All right. All of that can be found postwrestling.com and postwrestlingcafe.com, where it is a packed weekend on the Café. We have got a G1 Climax show coming at you Saturday evening. Wai and I will go through the semifinals and get you all set for Sunday's final. And then Bruce, Karen, and WH, they are taking us home with a review of the final night of the G1. Who will be crowned on Sunday? Saturday night, John Kleinchester joins Kate from Montreal for Collision Course. We'll have a UFC 319 show on Sunday morning with Eric Marcotte and Jack Wannan. And then for everybody here on the YouTube channel, Sunday night, the NWA podcast ends the packed weekend here at Post Wrestling.
That's a lot of shit.
A lot of stuff coming at you. And we'll also have the Great Cubs fan covering TripleMania on the site late Saturday night. So check out his report as well. All right. I'm out of breath. Wai, anything else you want to bestow upon the listeners? Nothing?
I don't want to waste
anything?
any more people's time. Let's get to the SmackDown review.
Yeah, let's get there, because you know who didn't want to waste their time on SmackDown tonight? No Cody Rhodes, no John Cena, no Randy Orton, and Logan Paul decided, you know what? If I go, I'm going to get married on the week we're in Boston. That's the week I'm going to skip. So we had a low amount of star power on this show.
I suppose, was it interesting that John Cena was not on
No,
team?
because I think they're making, his final match is going to be in Boston, and that's going to be the big Boston farewell. And I guess that's when you can come see John Cena.
And this isn't exactly a product that is even in need of a John Cena to be advertised for a show like this.
They did 12,100 without any of these stars. Although I can't tell you that none of these people maybe assume that all of these top stars wouldn't be here tonight. But I mean, that's what you get. Instead, you're getting a brand new member of the SmackDown roster. Okay, so you got a massive move. Okay, a transaction. So we are at the TD Garden, and the MFTs start the show with Solo stating how they run SmackDown, and chants of Solo sucks. And they stomped out Sami Zayn's ass on Raw. They stomped out Jimmy Uso, and they stomped out Jacob Fatu. So then, I mean, have you been eyeing these shirts, Way?
The MFT shirt?
Yeah.
I haven't been eyeing them.
No,
not really.
Yeah. Zayn comes out, and he just wants to talk. So the other three just exit the ring as Solo stands there by himself. And Zayn explains how he wanted to fight for the world title at Clash in Paris. That's not happening. And it's allowed him to feel liberated because he was spinning his wheels, so focused on the world title. You know, there's other things I want to do as well. So I want to thank you, Solo. You know, besides the world title, there's another title I've never won before. The United States Championship. And, Sikoa says, well, you're never going to hold it. You can just look at it. And wait a minute. You're on Raw. You don't even go here. So go back to Raw. And wouldn't you know it, Sami Zayn informs him that he has been moved to SmackDown. Just like that. And he says that you took something away from me, so Solo, I'm going to take your title. And the MFTs jump him. Jimmy runs down. Jacob Fatu runs down. And the babyfaces end up clearing the ring, last sending Tala Tonga over the top rope. And Nick Aldis having that format sheet with a big gap for the last 20 minutes of the show, a main event for these 12,000 people. He was hoping to have Logan Paul and John Cena do a contract signing. They both bailed. He was going to have Randy Orton do a quick segment. He's not here. We've got a 6-man tag, and just like that, the show is filled out. Nick Aldis, the man of the greatest improvisation.
They really have made, I would say, Nick Aldis even more than Adam Pearce. They've really made Aldis a lot more into a Teddy Long type of like just tropey, GM like in recent months. I don't know if that's come as a result of any sort of like internal change, but it really feels like he's almost like a caricature in ways that are, I think, a lot more maybe obvious than previously. And either way, it's like this is just kind of what we've come to expect about WWE GMs. This like the idea of a trade or like just even somebody jumping brands isn't even something that I feel like they've touched on in months. We've just got people switching brands now without any sort of official acknowledgement.
No, this is huge.
But here we have Sami Zayn officially moving to SmackDown. Like whatever that means, right? I guess
can he still show up at Raw?
Of course he can.
Was he moved to SmackDown last week, or last week was just him visiting?
Last week was just like a teaser.
It was a visit. He returned to Raw, and they were like, "Hey,
let's make it official." All right. Now I am assuming that there's another part of this deal, and that Sami didn't specifically mention a trade, but I am assuming LA Knight is now going to be a permanent member of the Raw.
Did we
roster.
determine that he was on SmackDown before?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. But that, it would feel like a somewhat fair trade of somebody of an equal value. Whatever you want to say about...
What is the downside of trading someone away when they have a hall pass to show up any week? Like, what are you losing?
Nothing, because
like
clearly...
if you really want him, he'll show up. Like,
yeah,
Roman was on SmackDown for like forever, and now he just shows up at Raw, and
it's true. Yeah,
the guy was never drafted.
Was Roman actually traded? We don't know. But okay, if you can say that somebody can't officially compete for a championship unless they're a member of this roster, well, that didn't stop LA Knight. LA Knight is not, at least to our knowledge, is not officially a member of Raw, yet he is able to challenge for Seth's title. Like, whatever. Like, who gives a shit? It just means
I say whatever, but then they keep bringing this stuff up. It's like I can't keep track of this stuff, and I refuse to either. I refuse to learn who is on what show.
Whatever you want to say or feel about the sort of looseness of this framework of this like brand roster split, I do feel like having Zayn being a permanent member of the SmackDown roster going forward does help freshen things up. This at the moment, this feels like it was him announcing that this is the temporary end of my world title campaign. I've been saying I want to be champion forever and ever and ever. Well, you know what? That's over now. And here's the silver lining for why it's good, because now I can focus on all these other things I want to do. Whatever. Okay. I guess it does make me wonder if this was always the plan, or if at some point earlier in this year, they did have ambitions of Sami at the very least challenging for a title, if not even winning it. And I say that because if you remember, John, when Jay won the championship, we had that scene with Zayn and Jimmy celebrating with him in the ring, and those long drawn out teases of Sami just sort of like building that tension up. I think forcibly trying to get the audience to think about a turn. And that was never a feud that they ever executed on, with Sami chasing after Jay's championship. So it does at least make me wonder if that was at least teased for a purpose, or if that's whatever. Like if there were plans changed as a result. Like Zayn to me wouldn't just mention all of this wanting to be a champion unless they had ambitions at some point to give him the championship. Clearly, it's not going to be this year. With Cody as champion, I suppose it's still possible. Like Cody versus like a heel Zayn, I think could be a very compelling match. But at this point, Sami is going for the U.S. Championship, the title that he rightfully earned a right to challenge for as of last week after defeating Solo Sikoa. But I guess that doesn't count because he wasn't an actual SmackDown roster member. So now he can re-earn the title shot as an official qualified SmackDown member.
I will sleep better at night knowing that this U.S. title picture now has this consistency.
But at the very least, it gives him, compared to Raw, it's a role that feels like it's closer to the top of the mix. I think we can, suggest. Like on Raw, he kind of fell out of the main event scene, certainly. All the stuff with Karrion Kross, like really feels it's over now, right? We could say.
Did you hear all the chants tonight?
I did not.
Okay.
Did you?
No, I did not. So I'd say that the Cross thing is kind of, I don't know. Like if this segment had ended with Karrion Kross running in and attacking Sami Zayn, like it would have gotten a reaction. But
it would have, yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't think of Karrion Kross once during this show.
Oh, me neither.
Until you brought his name up. So, he's moving on to the U.S. title, a title he has never won before.
Yeah, excited?
I mean,
I'm less excited.
Sami Zayn winning the U.S. title and then turning heel on the U.S. and his thoughts. Maybe that would be
that would not excite me. Like that just at this point feels like such a, like Ethan Page is doing it right now. Yeah. I'm more excited for Sami to be reinserted into this sort of like bloodline world than I am for him to actually win the U.S. championship.
Well, Saxton is with the Secret Hervis, and Chelsea complains about the cake, stating she could have been seriously injured last week. Niven's going to take out Bliss, and then they are coming for the tag titles. Alexa Bliss, Piper Niven. We have Charlotte Flair in one corner, Green and Alba Fire in Piper's corner. So Bliss holds up Lily at the start, and Niven stomps at Bliss, and Chelsea goes to grab Lily and is stopped by Charlotte. They brought up Charlotte's doll, but she didn't bring it out.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why was Charlie missing in action this week?
I don't know. Maybe she threw it out. Maybe that's what we're going to learn at some point. Remember when Mick Foley gave that copy of Have a Nice Day, and then later he found it in the trash and thought The Rock had thrown it out? Maybe that's where we're going here.
Wow.
Bliss is getting beaten on through the break, comes back.
By the way, maybe this is a legitimate question, okay? Because maybe Alexa threw out Charlie because it would interfere with the merchandising sales of Lily. Well, you can't have competing. And to that note, I do have a serious question. If they do end up selling a Charlie doll, who takes the royalties from that?
It should be Charlotte. It's Charlotte.
It'd be Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
So then she would have a legitimate gripe, a legitimate reason to hate Charlotte for stealing some of her merch money.
See, if you were really savvy, you would say to Alexa, "Listen, I think this is this Charlie doll. We should split all the revenue. We should split all the revenue of Lily and Charlie between us. I think that's the way we go about it."
That's not that. I don't think she'd be into that either.
This should be the storyline. Okay, they break up over a revenue split.
It would be a bit more believable
yes.
breakup, I suppose.
Labor negotiation, something that WWE has never ventured into. Niven hits a cannonball and then misses the Vader bomb. Bliss hits a DDT, and then Charlotte pulls Chelsea off the apron. Fire stops a twisted Bliss and then gets knocked off the apron. And Alexa overcomes multiple distractions, then nails Elba and still manages to roll up Piper Niven in 7 minutes and 35 seconds. Then the Secret Service beat down Flair and Bliss and leave them laying. Charlotte is sent into the timekeepers area, and then they beat Bliss down with a Gory Bomb and Vader Bomb combo. So this is your perfect example of like wins and losses mean absolutely nothing. The purpose of this segment was to build up the next challengers. So we'll let the champions win the match, but then we beat the hell out of them. So you don't even remember who won this match at the end of this. And this probably sets up Piper and Fire as the number one contenders in this division.
Yeah, via beatdown rather than via any sort of like pinfall victory. Now listen, yes, wins and losses don't matter, but they also really, really matter because clearly they don't want to beat an Alexa Bliss with Piper Niven, even through cheating. So I don't know. It makes sense of that however you will. And the audience, I think, will just accept it all because they've conditioned everybody to just like accept matches being made for no reason, which is for the WWE, especially like this sort of story, I think fine. Like everything to do with Chelsea and the Secret Service sort of exists in a, I don't know, unrealistic sort of comedic realm anyway, and you kind of extend that to Alexa and Charlotte at this point, who are like really over with this audience, and they are getting decent reactions regardless of I think whatever booking, how believable the booking is. You know, people just seem to like seeing the two of them together, and I think the tag match like will be decently successful as this match was.
Tiffany Stratton is yelling with Jade Cargill. Apparently Cargill wants another title match. I don't know why. She lost clean.
Agreed.
What's her gripe? Like, Tiffany didn't cheat? And it's like, what? I just have to, what is this, like a best of 5? Are you Andrade and I'm Carmelo? Like,
well, you don't know. You don't know until you ask.
I guess so. That's how this division works.
Yeah.
And then Nick Aldis explains that you can't just make a title shot. You have to go through a lot of channels. I'm like, yes, I see through Nick Aldis's process. A lot of channels to go through formatting and making these matches. So Nia Jax walks in from the NXT lot, and she wants Tiffany Stratton too. Another person that Tiffany's beaten multiple times. And Tiffany's up for this. She's like, just bring it. And then they never did this match. They never announced this match for next week. It's just it's going to happen at some point.
I mean, I took this more to be like, you can chase after me, but the result will be the same. I'm going to beat you just like I beat Jade. So, I mean,
all this screamed to me was that we have no one for Tiffany, and we're just going to keep her attached to these past challengers that I thought we've moved on from. She's got no program at the moment.
This feels more to me like a TV match, and I mean, yeah, when you have nobody else, I guess hit the Nia Jax button and like give your babyface an impressive win that way. This feels more to me though like a reason to spin off into Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax than anything. So I'm sensing that to be more so the direction here.
That could be a very interesting match.
It could be. I wonder what the Annihilator would look like on Jade Cargill.
The Miz and Carmelo Hayes against Fraxiom. This began our appearances by members of the Wyatt Six throughout the night. We get a beautiful spotlight on Joe Gacy. You couldn't miss him in the crowd. This was so subtle. And then Dexter Lumis appearing too, as they did cite the history that Miz and Dexter Lumis have.
They did, yeah. Citing that legendary.
I'm glad we are keeping that in the Miz's canon here of the history with Dexter Lumis. Miz did like some lucha spots with Axiom where they were attached with like their Greco-Roman knuckle lock doing monkey flip counters on each other. The crowd is chanting for Melo as they were near his hometown, and then got a big pop when he was tagged. And we see dives by Fraxiom setting up the break, and then Fraser gets this tag after the break, and he is just going at a ridiculous speed. And his target is the Miz, and it looked like this guy was doing circles around the Miz in terms of his speed, and Miz just being the stationary target in the midst here. He goes for a Phoenix Splash. Miz gets out of the way, and then Fraser avoids a skull-crushing finale, leaps to the middle rope, and gives Carmelo an inverted Spanish fly. Then Axiom hits a regular Spanish fly off the top to Carmelo. leading to a Phoenix splash, and it's Miz in to make the save. Miz spiked Axiom on top of his head with his DDT on the edge, and as Hayes counters a superplex into a cutter in midair, he sets up for nothing but net, but Miz tags himself in, hits Fraser with the skull-crushing finale, and steals the win in 12 minutes and 17 seconds as Carmelo is looking very frustrated.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a very good match, as almost every Fraxiom match tends to be. And by extension, this might have been the Miz's best match in years, simply by being a participant in it. Of course, it's
Lucha Miz. I mean, he could be wrestling for this mega title in no time.
Nel Grande Americano with the Miz under the mask, I feel it could be pretty compelling, actually. Like the three of the men here are outstanding wrestlers.
Mizius.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
You have three outstanding young competitors here, but I oddly loved seeing the Miz in this mix. Like seeing the Miz involved in this high speed, high action style of like modern wrestling match. He feels so out of place that to me that's the appeal. You know, like what is a wrestler plucked out of like, I don't know, the early 2000s look like in a 2026 like, you know, futuristic modern wrestling style. It was fun to see him like at least like try to keep up. I think he was doing a lot of it almost like tongue in cheek, and to see him just like I thought he actually did a good job and was very entertaining. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the Miz looks like in the modern day SmackDown tag division. I
like the match. I thought it was the best match on the show, which I don't know how high praise that is, but this was definitely the best of the four we had tonight. There was a recap of Drew McIntyre's attack on Cody Rhodes, and Stratton walks into Kiana James and says that the longer you are champion, the more your market value goes up. It's like, I'm representing David Ellison at Paramount. He thinks your market value is way above what your asking price is.
Is Kiana James the closest we are going to get to getting a Mark Shapiro inspired character in the WWE?
Oh man,
more entertainment to their fertile ground.
Holy shit! If she starts like saying,
if she became the female Mark Shapiro, I mean, that should be the inspiration for this character.
That'll be the gimmick of the year, like at the end of the year awards for sure.
Yes.
Wow.
She'll talk about how antiquated pay-per-view is. You're a streaming star, and we need to talk about efficiencies in the women's.
We need to talk about these activations on your outfit here.
This is definitely the direction that Kiana should be going toward. I love this idea. So she mentions that if you join Julia and I, we can offer you protection and a brand expansion with a custom pink title.
Brand expansion, love it. That is a Shapiro ism right there.
That should have been the term first used in 2002. We're undergoing a brand expansion.
Yeah, I think she's doing well with this. You know, for somebody who hasn't been on TV in an entire year, they're giving her a pretty big role, like in the women's division, being a manager. One who seems to be like teasing a faction to surround her and Julia. Yes. Like, it shows that they have a good deal of confidence around her to give her a role like this.
She's also, like, replaced Julia's, like, airtime as well.
Unfortunately, that's kind of what it comes with, right? I mean, and that's fine. Like, you know, Julia is clearly somebody who's still working on an English promo. Let her work on that in the background, and when she's ready, let's hear a bit more of it, like the way they've transitioned Neo.
Then after Stratton leaves, Meechin walks in saying she's got Julia next. All because she took that business card last week, and Kiana says it's under advisement. All right. Drew is out. He replays the attack on Cody with the Claymore, and he explains, I didn't attack Cody. Your eyes are lying to you. And he asks Tessitore, where's the medical update on Cody? Joe explains there isn't one, and asks if management is hiding it because they don't know how long the Golden Boy is going to be out. And Drew explains that Cody needs validation from the fans and management. And that's the position I was in 5 years ago. But I evolved from that. And after we retire, you fans move on. It's about what you've done now. And I need the world championship. Who is Cody without that title? He explains that it wasn't me that attacked Cody. Cody attacked me last week. And he goes to the floor and he goes through the finish where the bell rang and the match had ended. And Cody sent Drew into the post. And then Cody slid all of the stuff off the desk. He says, Joe, what do you think he was going to do to me on this desk? So I defended myself. And I'm not the bad guy, but I do violent things if provoked. And I am the real nightmare. This guy had, I thought he was great. He had no Cody to work off of here, and he just had to make sense. Not even make sense, but just give us
gaslighting.
Yeah, that's what he did here, and he was fantastic. I thought this was really great, and they did not promote Cody for next week either when they go to Ireland. And I would say if he's not on next week's show, I'd say that's a pretty good shot that they're saving this for Beyond Paris.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like they're doing this extended injury for Cody from last week.
Yeah, in Paris it already feels like a pretty full card without the need for
You've
this
got,
match.
We presume Roman. Well, Roman is advertised. We expect we'll get him and Bronson on that show. You've got a Cena match. You've got Rollins defending the title. Punk is on there. Like it's a pretty, like for a premium live event. It's like you've got enough of your big stars on it that I think you can get away with holding off on this one.
I thought it was a very good introductory promo from Drew McIntyre. You know, taking the "it wasn't my fault" thing to like a new level. I do hope, like in the time between now and Paris, or if this feud extends beyond, that we get more personal material between the two. But because I think there's certainly a lot of it to mine from their history. Like I want a feud for Drew to feel as real as that Punk feud did at one point. So I'm hoping they can match that.
What if Drew does the ultimate move? He says he gets to get the next title shot, and he gets to determine the date. And he says, Cody, you're going to have to defend your belt against me. But on that same night, you're going to have to harm your baby by going up against an AEW pay-per-view.
Sure.
Cody will be like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think he's going to have to exactly do that many times over in the next few years as the face of this company.
I could see this being held off until then. Like it's possible.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Like I wouldn't do this. I don't see this one happening on TV. So September 20th is probably a likely destination for this. Saxton speaks with the Prophets and B-Fab. This is when the MFTs walk in and we get the alphabet promo from Montez Ford. And then Tala Tonga is looking down the hallway. And after he leaves, the Rabbit appears.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think just showing us that the Wyatts are looming everywhere, especially for tag team matches. Thank you, all X316 in the chat, who says Nikki Cross was also in the reflection of the truck in the Tiffany segment. So they're teasing Nikki getting involved with Tiffany as well. So the Wyatts are just doing spooky shit all over the show.
Yeah, Weapons was a lot better than this. Spoiler. DIY take on the Street Profits. Candace shields Ciampa on the floor from Dawkins. And then Ford hit this high cross, and Joe Tessitore was just in amazement at the height this man got. I mean, he's a very impressive athlete, but there's a double team blockbuster that gets stopped when Candace sends B-Fab into the steps on the floor. They do the fairy tale ending with the super kick combo, but Dawkins is in to save Ford. And then Candace comes off the top turnbuckle for a Rana to Ford off the apron. All I can say about this is like this was a tough angle to pull this off, and Montez Ford pretty much had to complete this all by himself to manage this. So he completes it. Gargano hits the one final beat, gets a 2 count, and then B-Fab runs around the ring with this flying knee that it looked like it totally whiffed, missing Candace. But she goes down, and the Street Profits hit the spine buster from the heavens as Ford pins Ciampa at 9 minutes and 25 seconds.
Fun match. Certainly not without some blemishes with some of the interactions on the outside, but I thought the women though like added something to make this feel a bit more special than just another tag match between these two. But yeah, very good match, I would say. Mm-hmm.
And all this is with more members of our burgeoning tag division, the Motor City Machine Guns, and then Hayes and Miz walk in. Hayes wants a U.S. title shot. Just out of nowhere. I can't
That's
believe
how
Bill-
people get title shots on the show. You just ask.
Miz apologizes on behalf of him to Aldis, and Sabin asks Hayes, "Are you him or are you his?" referring to Miz. Miz comes back and calls them the Motor City Squirt Guns. And Shelley gets very offended by this. He says, "We're the kings of this. We wrestle like a team, not like you guys who look like you just met in catering."
Ooh.
What a diss. And so Nick Aldis does something rare. He books in advance, and he has put this match for next week. You can all get on a plane and go to Dublin to sort this problem out. And that is going to happen next week. And this is where we had Uncle Howdy in the background.
Yeah. Again, seeing the Miz in the ring with the Motor City Machine Guns,
I love it.
and Melo, I think is going to make it the most appealing thing about the match. Like, obviously, like Motor City Machine Guns and Melo, and like take your pick of like great wrestlers on this roster. They could have a banger, amazing match. But putting the Miz in there instead, to me, just like awakens some sort of sick curiosity I have to see how the Miz is going to survive, how he's going to look in high speed traffic. You know, how is this guy going to dance through and do the Frogger around these like fast moving objects that are around him? And I don't know. That sounds like fun to me. As a
You know how we
personality-
always say, usually every month we get the question on Ask Away about who would you like to see jump rosters. My new default answer is I want the Miz to go to AEW. Okay, that's the run I want.
I want the Miz to go to Stardom and compete for the high speed championship.
He could check it all off his box. Yes, I think.
I do think as a personality he adds a lot here. You know, like he seems to fit perfectly into this sort of like high school drama that is the tag division anyway. I think, you know, obviously
Let's look at it this way: when the Miz was gone, how much of Carmelo Hayes did we see on programming?
Oh, none.
Virtually nothing. So it's like this guy is allowing Carmelo Hayes, and I don't agree with it. I think this guy is great, but man, has it been an uphill battle since he has been called up. And the Miz is the most that this guy has been able to get out of anything. Although what happened to Dre?
Yeah, well, that might have to Dre might have to make a return.
Did they forget about Dre?
They're very good, John. I'm not going to
That's
start
all.
rapping. I'm
Let's
not
move
going to
on.
start doing M&Ms. Like, you know, so, but at the very least, I think I would say now in this iteration of Melo Don't Miz, I mean, they're on the right course with Melo being the clear babyface who wants to get out of this team, and the Miz continuing to drag him in. So throughout all of this, you are still hopefully ending up with Carmelo being a successful babyface.
I mean, they put these guys over Fraxiom. Like they've obviously these guys are in the tag mix.
thanks to Melo, like doing all the work, and then Miz just coming in to steal the pin.
And they'll probably
right?
do the same finish next week. I
Yep.
imagine they're going to continue this, and it's going to be, you know, they beat the Machine Guns next week.
And I do think there is an appeal to seeing Miz interact with the Wyatts again, because they do have that shared history that they've yet to really tie up. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am actually on board with this Miz in the tag division idea.
There's a recap of Cena and Logan Paul from last week, and then Saxton interviews R-Truth, who is asked about Cena's literal attitude adjustment. It's like, oh my God. Aleister Black comes in. How about how you feel about your other friend, Damian Priest? With friends like you, who needs enemies? I'll see you next week. So this guy isn't even bothering with all this. He just booked his own match right here on the spot.
Yes. Now, Truth, did you get? Are you going to get into Truth response here?
No, what did he say?
Well, like this signified that R-Truth is back, but Ron Killings isn't dead, because John, once the hat spins around, then you're saying hello to Mr. Killings. And this signified, you know, this sort of Jekyll and Hyde gimmick that Ron Killings is now doing with R-Truth. And again, he's really hamming up the R-Truth side. He's coming in doing like the jump kick, like kicking his feet together and everything, like being about as corny as we've ever seen in R-Truth. But the moment
Is he going to be like Festus, where the bell rings and all of a sudden he's Ron Killings? He's going to be dangerous.
Pretty much, yeah. Something akin to that, yeah. So you had, Aleister Black, like, I don't know, I guess, like, threaten him seriously or something. And this is when the hat turns around and he gets serious and he starts talking like Ron. And you even had Black acknowledge, oh, there you are, Mr. Killings. So we're getting a Jekyll and Hyde gimmick. And I certainly am going to wait to see how well they play it out. But on the surface, I actually really like the idea. I think, number one, I think it at least tells us that the introduction of Ron Killings wasn't just something they're completely writing off. They're in fact using it for this new gimmick, right? So it gives value to what we saw over the past few weeks, which is not like the same as like the John Cena turn, which completely seems to forget everything that preceded before it. Now we're taking everything that we got from Ron Killings and we're rolling it up into this sort of half Ron Killings, half R-Truth. And ultimately, I hope that it'll make both of those things a bit more interesting. It'll make the R-Truth character a bit more menacing and serious in the ring, and it'll add a more fun, happier, more entertaining side to Ron Killings, which I guess could have been a little bit too serious upon presentation. So I think it's a smart move, and I'm curious to see how it'll play out.
So we got Ron Truth now.
No, you got Ron Killings and you got R-Truth. All right, it's both.
Well, look at that. Is he getting 2 salaries? Was that part of his contract negotiation?
You know what? That might have been part of the deal. Yeah.
Zayn is in the locker room with Jimmy and Jacob Fatu, and Zayn says it means a lot that you guys had my back. Fatu gets up, says, I didn't do it for you. I did it for my brother. I don't know you like that. Zayn says, well, if you're cool with Jimmy, you're cool with me. And Fatu tells Sami to stay out of my way. So next week, first of all, for Raw, they announced Naomi will speak on the state of the women's championship on Monday. So we will, whatever's going on with Naomi, we will find out on Monday. And then next week, so the next couple of weeks, beginning next Friday, we're going to be getting a bunch of European shows, beginning with SmackDown in Dublin, Ireland, with the return of John Cena, Aleister Black against Ron Killings.
No, he's R-Truth. I think he's only R-Truth now, but within R-Truth is a Ron Killings that might come out.
Okay, what way will the hat sway? And then the squirt guns against Miz and Hayes in Dublin. So main event, Solo Sikoa, JC Mateo, and Tonga Loa against Sami Zayn, Jacob Fatu, and Jimmy Uso. Tala Tonga boots Sami Zayn on the floor, so they beat on Sami Zayn for about an hour. Sikoa cuts him off as he's crawling. Finally, he tags Jacob Fatu, who runs wild on Tonga Loa, hits a hip attack. Jimmy's in to make a dive, and then pop-up Samoan onto Tonga Loa, and the crowd is chanting Fatu, goes for the swanton. Tonga Loa gets the knees up. So now Sikoa is in. He hits a splash off the top to Jacob, and the crowd awakens at this point. Fatu then reluctantly tags in Sami, and he proceeds to hit a blue thunderbomb to Sikoa. Mateo is in for the save, and after a series of super kicks, Jacob hits a dive onto Tala, and Sami stops a Samoan spike, hits Solo with the exploder, and wins with the haluva kick, bringing him one step closer to the title that has eluded him all of these years, the United States Championship. 11 minutes, 4 seconds.
The title he didn't realize he wanted until earlier this week.
Until he just made that fateful stop to say hello at the Bell Center last Friday, and they ushered him into a match. Yeah. The wrong GM to just stop by and say hello when they've got a open segment.
So second time 2 weeks in a row that Sami has pinned Solo Sikoa. I mean, he did pin him in a singles match, which should already grant him a title match, but whatever. Like, I'm sure they'll make this official for I don't know, what show do you think?
This could be on one of the TVs. I mean, they're doing SmackDown in Lyon, France.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I could work for that. I'm from what little we've seen, I think of Sami already with this new version of I guess the Jimmy and Jacob bloodline. I'm already really enjoying it. You know, I think part of the appeal of seeing Sami in the original bloodline was to just kind of see like what this French Canadian would look like in this like group of like, Samoans. And you're getting some of that dynamic here between Sami and Jacob behind the scenes backstage, where seeing Sami react to yeah, that I mean, as like, what did he say? Was very amusing, and I'm hoping for more interactions like that in the coming weeks. I'm already really liking Sammy actually as part of this whole thing. Certainly it's a better role for him than what he was doing on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this is a benefit for Jimmy Uso that he has, someone else to work off of. I mean, Jacob Fatu is already, heavily on the ascent.
But
And
it can add something to Jacob as well, being attached to Sammy, and again having that sort of like interesting
Yeah.
contrast of personalities.
yeah, at the end of this, Fatu offers his hand and gives Sammy a hug. So we're not going to do a long, drawn out tease of whether the two are friends or not. And then, as remarkable as it is, the final thing we hear is Joe Tessitore plugging TripleMania tomorrow night, as well as Clash in Paris, and signs off. And that's how the show ended.
Yeah, it is
And they
one
did
of
do a
those shows.
rundown of the WWE matches that are on TripleMania as well. So they did promote the show for YouTube on Saturday.
He's gonna have to start doing an Excalibur impression now with the amount of things that they're gonna have to promote. Maybe eventually TNA.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel if TNA moves to Wednesdays, there'll be a heavy promotion of
Yeah.
TNA every week on Monday and Tuesday.
Fucking Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and on Thursday they're gonna maybe AAA on Thursday, SmackDown on Friday, every day of the week. More.
They need a show for you to wake up and watch every day. Maybe that's the next live wrestling.
Right. Like a breakfast brawl or something
I think that's
like
that.
that.
That's the way they should
Copyrighted.
go.
Premium content, and it must be premium.
So this was a SmackDown. Thank you. This was a SmackDown without a Cena, without a Cody. I could see a lot of people being bothered by it, but personally, I honestly didn't mind it so much because I thought the content we got was, to me, like entertaining and like interesting. I don't know how you feel about
This to me was more of a subdued episode of SmackDown. I mean, the key stuff was obviously Sami Zayn. I think that was like the big story on the show. Introduce him on SmackDown for all the people who just exclusively watch SmackDown and you've never seen this guy since he's been off the brand. I enjoyed the tag match. I mean, it does feel as though like they're in the midst of building to a lot of these matches. They were down a lot of their top stars on this show. Like it was just kind of a middle of the road SmackDown. I wasn't like too negative on it, but it was yeah, I would be curious what your like 12,000 fans, if they left the show satisfied, if some of them were there with the hopes that, hey, it's Boston, we would expect a Cena or a Cody or even a Randy Orton, for instance. But it was a packed show for Boston, and we will see what date they return in December.
what are the sort of competing dates right now? The 13th and the
27th would be the two options that we will see.
Right.
All right, everybody. It's a big weekend here at Post Wrestling, so we hope you continue to follow along. PostWrestlingCafe.com has you covered. $6 a month. It gets you a whole month's access to all of the extra shows we do. This weekend alone, you're getting a G1 show Saturday from Wai and I, Sunday's final with Bruce Lord, Karen Peterson, and WH Park. We'll have Collision Course Saturday night, a UFC 319 review on Sunday, and then free for everybody here on the YouTube channel, it is the NWA podcast coming up on Sunday night. And a look ahead to next week, we're going to be traveling back, Wai and I, to 2001 for the King of the Ring, presented by Combos.
Thank you for that. Yeah,
We're going to talk about the brand expansion in 2001 compared to today. Okay, the road from Combos to King of the Hill. Okay, that's what we'll chart next week.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. If you go out to see Weapons, wait till you see what happens at the 84th minute. It's wild.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Yeah. All right, that's it for Wai Ting. I am John Pollock. Good night.